usually I'm fine, but once that one day where the truck comes in hits, after that it's like a drag. So I'll be like drinking G Fuels every day after that day.
Caffeine's a lifesaver.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I heard this saying. It's like I think it's a man with no vices is a man not to be trusted.
And that's like kind of legit.
I like it personally because I'm a man with vices myself, and I feel like that. I don't know, someone who is too perfect, I feel like has something to hide.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just my personal thought.
Well, the thing is that, like, you know, we can always strive for perfection, but like, what even is that? If you are quote unquote a perfect person, like there's like some sort of facade going on there.
It's a weakness in itself, you know? Like if you like, let's say you classify yourself as perfect, I feel like you're not relatable. And you're no longer,
not at all.
You're not trying to be human. And I feel like you're not enjoying yourself. And I feel like that's a huge weakness in life, that you need to enjoy yourself.
Definitely. Dude, that's what's kind of like messed up about social media, especially something like, I love Instagram. I think it's like, it's like a nice, simple social media that's not like overrun with toxic people like something like Twitter. But a lot of what you see on Instagram is celebrities posting like all the vacations, all the nice new cars, all the new houses they get, and you never see what's behind the scenes, what's going on, like,
because there's so much that happens behind that.
Yeah,
I don't know because I don't see it. But I just know that it's not what they show is not what's going on.
Yeah, so you just see all this like perfection all the time without seeing like all the flaws, all the issues that people go through, and then that makes you question like, are my issues like, should I be having these? Should I, like, why isn't my life perfect?
And then it's like you think about it, and you're like, okay, the people who seem perfect are rich, so therefore, if you draw that dot, you know, the dots together. Money must make me perfect, but it's not the case. Dude, I think a lot of people get stuck in that what is it called? Gerbil wheel? I don't know.
Rabbit wheel. That's not right, but
you get the point.
Yeah. No, dude, I can never imagine being someone who like bases their life off of making money. A lot of people do that too, but the thing is, like, with everything I'm doing, the podcast, like the YouTube channel, that's like, if I can make a living off of it, if I can have like a decent apartment, that's all I really need. I don't need millions of dollars or even like tens of thousands of dollars. If I can survive off of it, that's all I really want from it.
Like here's this one thing, right? So I started working at Peak maybe 3 months ago, and I love it. It's amazing. I love everyone who works there. It's a great job. I love it. It makes my life better. And the one thing I will say is that, you know, we put it really into perspective that like the minute I started working that job, things just started to, I don't know, come together. Like I got a gym membership for free and I enjoy working and I made new friends. And I think that it's just one of those things where if you like, it shows that like if you really, really find something you love to do, you don't actually work. It doesn't feel like you're working all the time. And I think that's so valuable. And I think everyone needs to appreciate that some little more.
Absolutely. Find something that you're passionate about. I think I've had this thought in the back of my head. I've been trying to like I've been thinking of like trying to sneak it into like a conversation during the podcast, but it's just never come up. But I always think that, you know, if you're trying to find something that you're passionate about, you should look for something. You know how when you get horny, it's like this thought that like pops up out of nowhere and then it's like you can't really get rid of it.
Oh, it takes over.
It takes over and like it's so hard to just fight it off. You gotta, like, if you're looking for your passion, you gotta find something that does that for you. Find something that makes you horny.
Danny, you're a fucking genius.
Like, dude, like, it was something like, I love music. I don't think it's something that I would, like, it's not something that I really like care enough to pursue, but I'm still like passionate about it. Just not as much as like the stuff I'm doing now. But I remember like anytime that I would sit down and make a beat or record or anything else like that, I would sit down and just get like enveloped in the process for hours on end and forget like how much time is passing.
Dude, I remember when we made that song together. Like, you know, it was like me, Mike, you,
and
who else was on it?
I think that was it.
Yeah, okay. John Madden 2, right?
John Madden 2.
A legendary experience right there,
Probably
folks.
the best song.
Honestly, it's really it's surprisingly good. Like
Dude,
it really is.
Yeah, looking back on like all the music we made, including your stuff with Eli, like it's as sometimes like it does have like cringy moments in each of them, but like what doesn't? Anything like it's in high school. We made that in high school. What's not?
We were just having fun.
Yeah, dude. Like I still have like such an appreciation for all of those things we do.
Yeah.
Anyway, you were gonna make a point.
Oh, about
you were talking. You started to like remember when we made like those songs. Like
yeah, you were just so into it. Like
I
remember you were wired in, and I was like trying to do the same thing. I think it was Mike who was not as focused. No offense, Mike, I'm not trying to be mean.
No, that's just how Mike is with a lot of things, and that's all right.
He's so casual. He's just a great guy. He's just chilling, you know.
Yeah.
But no, I remember you were very particularly into it, and I respected that. Like it was very fascinating to watch you work.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, no, you're really good at those types of things, like artistic, creative, technical things. You have like a really good grasp on it, and I respect that. Like,
dude, I appreciate that a ton. It means a lot. Seriously, like comments and just compliments like that, like they just touch my heart so much because like
I'm glad. Yeah. Oh, I mean it, man. Like I really do.
Dude, yeah, it's really nice because like I work so hard on all this stuff, and like it's not like a big thing now. I hope it gets big, but like the fact that there are people who do appreciate it, it just like it makes it so much easier to like sit down and grind it out until hopefully it does go somewhere.
Yeah, and I'm willing to help you in any way you can, because like literally my dad before I came here, he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm doing a podcast with Daniel," and he's like, "Oh, I think Daniel would be really good at that." Like I was just telling him that you actually want to do it, and he's like, "Oh yeah, if anyone can do it, it's gonna be Daniel." You know what I mean? Like you just have that persona, and I just feel like you definitely could do it.
Oh, thank you.
I support this, man.
Yeah, something I recently realized is that, you know, I'm definitely an introvert. I don't necessarily get my energy from being around a lot of people, but you know, I brought it up on the podcast multiple times that, you know, I'm so surprised that I wanted to do a podcast. I'm not a very talkative person, but I think lately I've actually realized that I am sort of a people person. Maybe not a large group sort of person, but I do kind of like sitting down and like kind of dissecting people's brains, seeing like what makes them interesting, what perspectives do they have. And I think that's like what I appreciate about people. And like that's the energy that I like to get out of people, not necessarily huge crowds, but like these
one-on-one
dialogues.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I would identify more as an extrovert. Lately, I would say I'm in between, but I definitely, you know, I'm a little more extroverted than you maybe. But I think we have that in common. Like I really like to see how figure out how people, you know, click, how they work, what makes them tick. I don't know. It's really interesting to me. Like that's like psychology was one of the most interesting things I ever most interesting class I ever took. Yeah, in my opinion. So
is that something that you want to pursue in the future?
Oh man, I have no clue what I want to do, man.
Well, here, let me count us in, and then we can delve into like what your future plans are.
All right.
Sound good?
Yeah.
All right. In 3, 2, 1. Nathaniel Laprade is on the podcast.
Let's go. Let's go, man.
Were you trying to figure out something to say?
Yeah, I didn't know what to say. I was like, I was lost for words.
That's all right. There's literally 0 point to me counting in. We're not live. It's not like I hit the record button right when I say.
Yeah, I was a little confused. I was like, huh?
I just think it sounds cool.
It does. I like it.
It just sounds like official.
Hell yeah.
Right. Like, I listen to a lot of Joe Rogan. I bring him up too often on the podcast.
You're the one who exposed me. I remember. Yeah.
Dude, that was legit. Like that was less than 2 years ago that I started listening to him and got obsessed with podcasts. And then here I am with my own. It's such a crazy thing. But what was my point? Oh yeah. I would hear him count in on every podcast. I'm like, that sounds so cool.
Yeah. If you like it, just do it. I like it.
Like he doesn't even do his shows live anymore, but he still counts in a lot of the time. I don't know does he count in anymore? I don't remember, but the times that he did count in, I really like that.
He has the best guests.
Oh yeah, the thing is that he can just get anyone he wants now.
Can you explain something to me?
Yeah.
So the history of Joe Rogan, right? He's involved in the.
real quick, could you go ahead and pull that microphone a little closer to you? You can just move it around.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Does this work?
Or yeah, if you want to scooch in closer to it. I know the arms aren't great.
Oh, it's fine. Does this work?
Yeah. It's just like you want to be a little closer to it so you get that nice crispness to the voice.
I don't want it to be like too loud. That's all.
I get that, but you can actually get pretty close to these.
Oh, cool.
If you make like a fist and then put that in front of that, like that's about how far you want to be. And like maybe not like right up against it, but like that's a pretty good distance.
Yeah.
You don't have to think about it too much, but
I'll just chill here.
Microphone trick.
Yeah.
Yep, just right there. So sorry, what were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say. So how is he involved in the UFC? Sorry, because I was always a little confused about that because I see him on the sidelines, like you know, talking about every fight and stuff like that. Is he like the president?
No. So the president is I forget his name. Something White. But the president is a completely different person. Joe Rogan is just a commentator who the president hired. Joe Rogan was very heavily involved with martial arts from an early age, and like that was originally what his pursuit was gonna be until he eventually switched over to comedy and just kind of did martial arts as like a hobby. But because he was so involved with that, when he did, I think the story goes is like he did go to a few UFC fights and then he met the president and then the president wanted him to commentate and he was kind of hesitant to do it, but he started doing it and got really involved with it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool. That's a really cool backstory actually.
Yeah, it's really cool. So Nathaniel Laprade.
Daniel Strohman.
What is your backstory going to be? What are you hoping to do? Or here, let's start out with like, what are your plans right now? So you are going off to college, right?
Yes, I am. I'm going to a school called Lawrence University. It's a 1,400 kids.
Really?
Smaller than my fucking high school. Sorry. Oh, can I swear on this?
Yeah, I don't care.
Make it sure.
I don't care.
Sure. I don't know if you like demonetize or something.
No.
Okay.
I don't even make money.
Pain.
The pain. Okay, so 1,400 kids. And
Yes.
where is this?
Appleton, Wisconsin. It's like half the size of Rockford.
Okay. How far away is it?
2.5 hours.
Okay, so that's like distant, but not too far.
It's close enough to where it's not across the country, but it's also far enough to where my parents can't come and visit me very easily, and that's kind of the goal here.
You don't want, dude. Your dad is like one of the nicest people.
Oh, he is. Like, don't get me wrong, but he's smothering. He's like
I get that.
He's like a big bear who like doesn't stop hugging you.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about my mom. I love her to death, but sometimes it's just like, all right, I need my own thing right now.
Yeah, I gotcha. Like, I guess it's like I got one parent who's like my dad's like that. My mom's just kind of there, you know, she's just chilling. So
yeah, that's dope. So let's see here. It's in Wisconsin. It's 2.5 hours away, and then 1,400 kids. So like, why that school?
Okay, well, to be honest, they gave me the most. Well, they gave me the second most money.
Okay,
they gave me over $50,000.
Damn, that's not bad.
So in total, I'll only be paying about I think 11 or 13 grand a year.
Really?
Yeah, and I can if I do like work study or whatever, I can only pay like 7 grand a year.
That's not bad.
That was the reason why I chose that school.
What's the like regular tuition for it?
$62,000.
Holy crap.
Or something like that.
That's an expensive school.
It is very expensive.
So,
it is a very expensive school.
Yeah, but if you can get that down to 7 grand a year, like that's not a bad deal at all.
I was originally going to go to Augustana, because they gave me more money and it would have been cheaper, but I just didn't. I went and visited.
Yeah,
and it just creeped me out. I don't know why.
My girlfriend was actually considering going there. And I think she got kind of the same vibe. A lot of people were saying that the campus is great, and then she got there and like the campus was all right.
Yeah, really, all right.
Like it's like around the Quad Cities, right? And that part's really cool, but the campus itself was kind of
Yeah, and like right outside the school, like right when you get out, there's nothing.
Really?
It's like a neighborhood, like maybe like just a couple slabs of concrete. It's just it's random, man. It's weird.
So you kind of wanted like a better campus life.
Oh, that's I wanted somewhere that at least felt like homey.
Yeah.
You know, just something where I'd be comfortable. Or like I just didn't hate looking at it.
That's fair. Like that is a very fair.
If I am paying you money, I better like the way it looks. I'm just saying. Like I'm not gonna. Yeah.
So this is a very expensive school. So do they like specialize in anything?
They do, actually, music.
Oh, music. So
that was my dad's thing. He loves the school because it's the -- 2 music school. Like it's obviously like it's not like Berkeley or anything, but it's like they have a really good music program.
Dang. Is that where your dad went, or did your dad go somewhere else?
He lived in Rhode Island, so he went to University of Rhode Island.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Just a standard. And then he went to one of the Princeton schools for a little bit.
Gotcha. Nice burp, dude.
Thank you.
I do that all the time. Like if you see me turning like and doing a little bit of this, I remember when I was doing the podcast with Belen, I did that and she got a little confused. She's like, "Do you need to like do something? Are you good?" It's all good. I do that all the time.
All right. Good to make sure I can burp on your podcast. Cool.
No, you can swear, but you're not allowed to burp.
No.
Okay. So is music what you're trying to pursue?
No. I learned that mistake from my parents. I learned that was a mistake. No offense to my parents, but
are both of your parents involved? Oh, yeah. I forget.
My mom was an opera singer, actually.
Really?
She's like trained in opera.
I had no idea.
She has pipes, dude. Like she can. Wow. And then my dad he has a doctorate in music theory or music performance, I think. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and my dad's performed at the White House 3 times.
Really?
He's met Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton. Oh, he went 4 times. I'm sorry.
4 times.
He met Bill Clinton. He met George Bush, and he did not meet Obama. But I went to the White House with him when he went to Obama.
Okay. Yeah. So he was there. He just didn't meet Obama.
Obama was out of the country for some reason.
Dang it.
Yeah. Obama, where are you at? Come on, man. You owe my dad something. Come on now.
Give Paul Laprade a medal or something.
For real. Like a medal of music or something.
Yeah.
But no. But I am studying. Right now I chose my major to be political science and government.
Okay.
I've always been fascinated about like how power is manipulated within our society.
Oh yeah, dude.
Because I mean, to be blunt, I don't like very many politicians. There's very few I can even like.
Me too. I get that.
Okay, good. Cool,
yeah.
Cool.
I don't know if you listened to my podcast with Ayush, but
I did not listen to that one. That's my bad.
It was a decent one. I have to admit, like we were both really tired during that podcast,
oh, really?
So it started out as a huge struggle. I remember I was ranting about the show Neon Genesis Evangelion, and I was linking it to what's his face, Elon Musk and like Neuralink.
Oh wow!
And then I was trying to bring it to some like epic conclusion, and then it just didn't go anywhere. And I was trying to like figure out if I actually wanted to keep talking about it. I didn't, so I just switched it completely after an awkward pause. And just went to, so what are you doing for college?
The me go to.
Yeah, it's just like an easy question that like.
It opens things up to other things.
Yeah,
know?
For sure.
Yeah.
And like it's kind of like a very relatable thing to most of the people who are listening to the podcast now, because it is a lot of like our friends or just people who are pretty close to our age.
Yeah.
So it is really cool to hear what everyone wants to do.
Yeah, it's just a really cool thing. Mm-hmm. Like there's so many schools out there and everything like that, and there's just so much to choose from.
Yeah.
It's a big decision.
So what kind of career are you trying to get out of political science?
That's where I run into an issue.
Gotcha.
Because you see, I could probably do almost anything in that field and be happy. But I also could do other things in other fields and be happy. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what's gonna make me happiest. I might, like, the thing is, I'm not scared of messing up in the sense where I'll be unhappy. Mm-hmm. I just want to figure out what will make me the happiest.
Yeah.
I think maybe if I had to pick a job, campaign manager.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't want to be the politician.
Dude, being a politician would probably be like the worst thing ever.
I feel like you'd either go corrupt or get crushed not being corrupt. I don't know.
Dude, you kind of have to be a sociopath to be a politician. You have to like pander to everyone, make all these promises, and then like almost if you like commit to either being a Democrat or Republican, there's always like half the country that hates you.
And you have to follow by the rules too.
Yeah.
Like, you have to just, it's all... The system is just weird.
One of the scariest things that I ever heard was I was listening to Tulsi Gabbard on the Joe Rogan Joe Rogan podcast, of course.
Yeah.
And she talked about how in Congress it's literally like high school. Like if they're going on like a lunch break, everyone will get in their little cliques. If you sit with the wrong people, everyone will stare at you and be like, "Why'd you have lunch with them?" And it's like, really? These are the adults that are running our country?
That is embarrassing.
It freaks me out that that's the case.
That's scary, dude. Like, oh my God.
Dude, like, yeah, it's absurd that like our world leaders are so petty like that. Like,
you guys are like full grown adults, can't make decisions about stupid things, and all you care about is being reelected.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the issue at the end of the day, is that you have to get reelected and you have limited things that you can do with that. So, yeah.
Yeah, dude. I think another scary part is that we have, this is an idea I've heard of, but like the idea that we have one president that I'm still very confused on how much power the president actually has. Because sometimes I hear like people from other countries view our president as like not quite a dictator, but they have like a lot more power than most leaders do.
Especially like in Europe. Like in Europe, they don't have as much power.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
Absolutely. But like at the same time, they are like the commander in chief. They can just like, if they want to, they can just kind of fuck up a country.
It's like, you know what? I'm not feeling turkey today.
Yeah, it's like they can just like they have like full power over the military. So it's like, do they have a lot of power, or how many checks are there? It's something I've been confused about. But I think the idea I was trying to get at is it's kind of absurd that we have one president who makes all the decisions.
And then we have how many people are in Congress? Like two something.
It's 430.
Okay. And then 100 in the Senate. I forget, man.
I forget.
I took political science in like freshman year.
Hey, anyway. Come back next semester and tell me.
Hey, I got you. No, I took it. Sorry, to get a little sidetrack here, but I took political science at RBC.
Yeah.
I didn't learn anything. I'm sorry, RBC, but I learned nothing.
Dude, RBC was like actually kind of fun though.
Oh, it was.
It was way easier than Gifted. Like if there's one thing that I appreciated about Gifted is that it did kind of deliver on that idea that you're going to be prepared for college.
It's facts. Like you really are just prepared.
It doesn't like the Gifted seal, any other like perks that it supposedly brings. It's kind of like you don't really need that stuff. But I will say, if you're in Gifted, like college is gonna be super easy, at least for the first couple of years. Yeah. Right after that,
just the gen eds, that will be a breeze.
Yeah, once you get into like the higher education, that I imagine that'll be extra difficult. But if you're just like, especially if you're just going for your associates at first, that's not bad at all. Like that's super easy.
I can imagine. I only did I did 2 semesters. It was easier, but I did worse, if that makes any sense.
I have no idea what that would mean.
So like my grades weren't as good as Auburn, but I think that's just because it was easier. And so I felt like,
Oh, so you kind of like slacked off on it a little bit.
Yeah, like at the end of the day, like I could have gotten all A's. I think I really could have, but I just kind of didn't, because I was quarantine was a rough time for me.
Yeah, I get that. It was rough for a lot of people.
Yeah, it really was. It's kind of crazy. There's a thing called Covet Psychosis.
What?
They're doing a study in Chicago apparently, and someone we know that I won't mention on this podcast is like a subject of the study.
Really?
And apparently it's just a nationwide thing that happened. So when COVID hit and you had to stay in your house, some people had big breakdowns. And
yeah, I can imagine.
I mean, I personally had my own little issues, but it's a study. Like people are like fascinated by the fact that all it took was 2 months inside a house and you lose your crap. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, dude, especially if you're living by yourself. I could never imagine that.
Yeah, at least I had my dad and my brother, but oh my God. Like
even living with people in the house, it's hard when it's like the same people. And
yeah, man.
But yeah, I can, it's easy to imagine that is actually the case. I know after COVID was a thing for a bit, like even though like quarantining does help keep the cases down and subsequently that keeps the deaths down, the deaths down, but like another thing that goes with that is like since the economy is also dipping, that is directly related to a rise in suicide and mental health issues.
All it does is just increase the struggle. You know, like it's you're trading one issue for another. You're trying to solve something and make more problems. There's always issues.
And I think that's something that the U.S. kind of struggled with during the pandemic is like finding that balance between, okay, so we do need to quarantine to a certain extent so that you know, COVID cases aren't rising absurdly high and
sorry, just go ahead.
aren't rising absurdly high, but also at the same time, we have to be mindful that people's businesses, people's livelihoods are going down the drain, especially if they own like a smaller business. And like and people aren't working, they're not making money. So it's adding so much stress to their lives. And then on top of that, you know, mental health issues are on the rise. Yeah. Suicide is on the rise. Yeah. And drug use is on the rise.
Yeah, it's insane. Like the opioid crisis got even so much worse.
Yeah,
it's no one talks about like these things. Like,
dude, that's it's the I'm trying to think of the story. What was it? It was it India and China where fuck. What was
You got this.
I got this. I'm thinking so hard.
There was stuff that went down in India and China.
There was shit. This is embarrassing.
You got this, man.
Okay, never mind. I'm gonna drop it. No, not at all. But I'm trying.
Is it when the British like?
It was the British.
Yeah,
Why
British
was I
gave
so?
China.
Yeah.
Through India. I think.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense. That was like the connection I was trying to make.
You're right.
I totally missed out on like Europe.
When they put the opiates, like the opioids in the tea, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We butchered that story so hard, but you guys get it.
Just
Google it or something. I don't know.
Just learn. Come on.
Come on, dude. Just learn.
We know it.
Yeah, we obviously know it. We explained it so
Oh my God. No, but England fucked them up, bro.
Yeah.
And vice versa. And it was just oh my God.
Yeah, I was describing this this story to Ayush. This is a story that I do know, but in India, there during British control over India, the I believe it was pythons, some sort of snake. Cobras. It was cobras.
Cobras. Okay.
It's very important to the story, actually, the name, but like the cobra population was like rising to absurd levels. You would just go on the streets and cobras everywhere.
What the hell?
Yeah, I don't know what it was, but so the government came up with this idea to get rid of all the cobras in the country, and the idea was to pay people a certain amount for every cobra that they brought in dead. Like, not a bad idea. They're like they're putting money towards incentivizing people to kill the cobras and bring them in, and you know, you would think that would lead to a decrease in the cobra population.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But what they didn't realize is that people get really sneaky and smart with things. So what they did instead was there were a lot of people who started breeding cobras.
Oh, and then they killed them and then got more money.
Yeah, so there was that, but like the population of the cobras didn't actually decrease. It actually increased because of the breeders.
Oh my God. That's a scheme.
It is
That's
a scheme.
Whole scheme. Yeah.
So, yeah, and that led to this concept of cobra effects. It's just these unintended consequences for ideas that you thought were good, but like you didn't think about like other repercussions.
Oh,
and like
that's really cool.
Yeah,
I did not know that.
Yeah. Do you do much reading?
I should. But I used, you know that book you told me about?
The Daily Stoic.
Yes. I that was the last book I've ever read.
Yeah. Did you get all the way through it?
I got very close.
Okay.
I don't know if I ever finished it though.
Yeah. I love that book. I think like if I was going to recommend a book to someone who hasn't like gotten super into reading, like that's the one, because it's like you read it. It's literally like a page a day.
Yeah, at max like 3 pages a day. That's it.
Oh, really?
I think, right? Isn't it just it might be just be one page.
Yeah, it might have been like a handful of paragraphs, but it's like a few paragraphs every day. It's really quick. It'll go by by like 5 minutes.
And you can think about it throughout your day too. It's just a small chunk of knowledge that you can just repeat.
Yeah, just take a few minutes before you go to bed if you need to. Like, you can find the time for that book. It's just a little bit every day, and I think Stoicism is one of the best philosophies.
It's really cool.
Yeah, like, don't get me wrong, other philosophies have really good ideas, but the idea of Stoicism, just this idea of like not putting so much value in like the things that you have no control over,
and only focusing on the things you can.
Yeah,
I love that.
It's such a beautiful philosophy, because like people get so obsessed with like things and like what we were talking about earlier, money, like, and you have to realize that none of that belongs to you. Not even something like your life, that doesn't necessarily belong to you, because like it can be taken at any given moment.
And things beyond your control.
Yeah. And like, but the one thing that you can have control over is your emotions, how you handle the situations around you.
And your perspective.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like if you change your perspective, you can think about things in different ways, and it affects you differently.
Absolutely. I brought this idea up on the podcast before, but there was one page in the book that talked about Plato's view, and it's just this idea of getting a bird's eye view of your situation, just like kind of elevating your perspective so that, you know, you're not just focused on like what's happening from your perspective, but seeing the bigger picture and seeing how minuscule it actually is. You know, maybe you messed up in a competition or whatever it is, in the grand scheme of things, something like that isn't really going to affect your life in the long run.
That's literally part of my own personal philosophy.
Yeah.
That like at the end of the day, does it matter? Mm-hmm. And if it does, that's something I can completely focus on. And I really invest myself in. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, if it doesn't matter, I'm going to enjoy myself. You know what I mean? I'm going to take it with a grain of salt, do whatever you got to do. And like if you're playing, let's say, for example, like I get worked up when I play sports. You know what I mean? For no reason. I suck at sports. I'm not good at it. I'm not even like love them that much. But I was playing basketball with the Peak people the other day, right? And I get really worked up because I fucking suck. And I'm like running around the court, messing up everything. So I get really heated and I leave. On the ride home, I was like, why am I leaving right now? This is a basketball game that I'm playing with a bunch of work friends. Yeah. Why am I so upset? I turn the car back around, I play again with them, and then everything's fine.
Hell yeah.
And I completely forgot about it until today. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you just enjoy your life with the little things that don't matter. Yeah,
that's the thing about like stress or anger. If you get so worked up about things, like anger isn't a solution. It's just gonna cloud your judgment, and just like more often than not, it's gonna make things worse. But if you can have like a calm peace of mind, you can analyze the situation objectively and realize, oh hey, you know, like I got really worked up about this game, but I'm enjoying my time here. I'm having fun. If I leave in the middle of this, then I'm going to miss out on that.
The anger is it's a secondary emotion. It's never the first thing you ever feel. If someone insults your mom, like, hey, yo, I fucked your mom, bro. Like, it's like, yeah, Isaac, I fucked your mom. Right? If I say that to Isaac and he gets mad, that's not his first emotion. His first emotion is pain, because he feels hurt that I did that to him. And so when you get angry, it's a way of you making yourself feel stronger. That's what my therapist told me. See, I used to get really angry about things I couldn't control, and like things that people would say to me and just stuff like that. I get really worked up in a bad way, you know? And then I started to realize that once you get angry, if you backtrack that to that first emotion and you tackle that first emotion, the anger goes away.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to think about.
Yeah. Just the idea of self-awareness and being able to analyze yourself, analyze your flaws, so that like instead of just getting worked up and then blowing off whatever angry feeling you have, you take that time as a learning opportunity to analyze yourself and grow from that moment.
Yeah.
Dang. So
it takes practice though.
So you brought up therapy. I had no idea that you were going to a therapist.
It's only something I stopped actually a couple months ago.
Congratulations.
Over quarantine, I was having some dark days. Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
And so I was just like, I don't know. My parents were like, hey, you should go to a therapist and talk about certain things. And I was like, okay. So I did. And a lot of it's just things like you could realize by yourself, you know, that you just have a third person to point things out for you. But there are some things that it takes like someone who's very seasoned to know about. Like, for example, the anger thing. I would never have put that together.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of things you can do. Some of it's kind of bullshit at the end of the day. Like, there's this stupid thing he taught me. He's like, when you get angry, you can tap your legs back and forth like this, and it calms you down. It does not do that. What do you know? Just what?
It might calm some people down just because they believe it's gonna calm them down.
It's
kind of like how I feel about crystals. Or last week when I had Story on, I kind of went off on tarot cards a little bit. I'm like, maybe that helps because you believe it's actually gonna help. Therefore, you're kind of like projecting that emotion onto it.
Or horoscopes, like just all that stuff. Yeah.
Like, I don't think it's necessarily wrong to believe in those things. Like, if it's helping you at the end of the day, go for it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
As long as it's not hurting anyone else. But like, you're kind of like placeboing yourself into thinking that something like that is going to work.
And like, at the end of like you said, at the end of the day, if that helps you, go for it. Like, well, who am I to say anything? But like, you should know that it's not like a scientifically thought out process. It's not like there's no science to back tarot cards.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Was it easy to open up to the therapist? I can't imagine like first walking in and just instantly being okay with telling them everything.
I mean, it honestly wasn't at first. It's a stranger, like I'm an open person.
You are.
So like if you ask me a question, I will answer it. Like even on a podcast. But I will say that you sit in a room, like my therapist is a man because I want a man, because if I'm a dude, I'd like to talk to a dude, just man to man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway. But I think that it is interesting to open up to someone like that because there are things that are so personal to you, like things you never have thought about before. Like, for example, like you'll just be talking to the person and then he'll stop or she'll stop and go, "What did you just say?" And like they'll backtrack it, talk about it, and then you're like, "Holy shit! I never realized blank about myself." And then it gives you things to think about and it helps you improve yourself. That's like the one thing about therapy that I really like.
Yeah. That's kind of like, I'm not trying to turn my podcast into a therapy session, but I do want to get better at communicating with people and sort of like, not necessarily just calling them out on all their flaws, but I do want this to be something that like people can get personal with and like hopefully even like maybe grow from it. Or I don't know, just like I don't want it to be something like we are just having a simple conversation, but I want it to be like something that you can take something away from. It's like maybe I'm not there yet. I don't necessarily think I'm there yet, but like I think over time that's kind of the goal I have with it.
I think at the very least, the people will think about things. You know, if they watch this and they've never thought about fucking, I don't know, the whole, like, the thing about the Cobra effect.
Yeah.
Like, even if they think about that for about 10 minutes of their day, I think that's still useful.
Yeah, just like this idea of, like, maybe think about all the possible effects of what, what you're going to do. What are the possible repercussions? What's every route that could take? Yeah. But yeah, that's. Oh, sorry. What were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say I think that you can get there with this for sure.
Yeah, even when I was like putting together the studio, like I wanted to figure out, okay, how can I like make this as comfortable for people as possible? Because it's like it is just a podcast that I'm running out of a spare bedroom in my basement, but I went in with this goal of, okay, so how can I do the lighting? How can I like make this look good while also making people feel comfortable and being willing to open and not being so focused on like, maybe they're like with these ring lights here. Like I was a little worried like, oh, people are going to be like that's going to be like really harsh on people's faces and maybe they'll be distracted by that. But so far I haven't had that really that hasn't really been a serious issue, but things like that were like, okay, what can I do to make this a little more comfortable for the person I'm having on?
Yeah. No, I honestly I didn't really like get uncomfortable about the lights at all. No, I think they're nice. Like then the bags help or whatever. Do you mind if I say something completely off topic?
Oh yeah.
If I had one piece of advice, like this, I thought about this because you said like want people to take things away from this. Quit nicotine.
Yeah.
If you are out there, quit nicotine.
Is that something you struggled with?
I'm still struggling with it.
Yeah.
When my nicotine like addiction started, like I first hit like my first vape when I was in freshman year of high school. My stepbrother moved in with me. He had like a whole coil and we were just hitting it. And I thought it was the coolest thing. 4 years later, like
it's turned into like a constant thing, right?
I no longer buy them for myself.
Yeah.
That's like my first step. So I don't go to the gas station, I don't buy them, and I don't keep them.
Yeah.
But when I go to work, which is almost every day,
yeah,
people have them. And,
gotcha.
and my stepdad, like he has one. And it's just constantly around me. And so it just makes it a little bit more in my face all the time. Makes it a little harder to quit. But if you are out there and you use nicotine, please stop.
Yeah. It's not something like weed where it like calms you down and maybe like even it helps you focus on something. It's kind of just like
there is no benefit
it's
to
like
nicotine.
It's like a hit of energy and it just gets you addicted.
It's a 10-second buzz.
Yeah.
That sticks around for a lifetime if you aren't careful.
Yeah.
Like
So
the addiction.
What are the sort of steps that helped you get out of that habit? Like,
I mean,
or here, let's start out with this. How bad was it at like the highest
peak? Okay. Well, what made it happen to be so bad was not to blame anyone, but like my ex Ava was pretty into it. And, you know, if you have two people that are in a relationship together using the same thing, it's like enabling each other. Yeah. So at the peak, I don't know if you know much about like nicotine brands and stuff.
I don't know too much.
I figured. But so there's like a brand and it's called Posh XL. I used to buy them all the time and they're supposed to have like at least 1,000 hits on it. I think more. I would go through them in a day.
Really?
Or two. Like 2 was long for me.
Really?
Yes. And so I would be spending $20 every 2 days.
Damn.
I spent over $1,000 on, well, I'm not exactly sure, but it's at least $500 on nicotine products.
Damn.
Yes.
So what is that what kind of made you realize that this was an issue, like the financial aspect, or were there other things?
That was like the main thing. I also like when I started to play soccer again, like over the summer, I started getting into it. And then when soccer started again, I was like, ooh, I feel it in my lungs. Like when I'm running on the field, I don't feel like I'm breathing as well.
Oh, yeah.
That's also probably the big thing. Like I want to be healthy. I'm a health nut personally. Yeah. And that nicotine is really bad for you.
So how did you like start weaning yourself off? Was it really just like forcing yourself to take less hits each day, or what was it?
Buying it less frequently, making it last longer, you know? So like if I buy them, let's say once a week, I'm not hitting it as much. Yeah. You know, I was just like, that was my first thought process on it. And so I just kind of transformed that into buy it as less as few times as possible. And I went back and forth about it. Like I would use it a lot. I would use it a very little. Yeah. But at like right now, I haven't had it. Let's see. Like maybe almost 24 hours.
Oh, really?
I'm craving it.
Yeah.
But like it's been 24 hours and I haven't like gone out and bought one.
Yeah. So like you don't have one for yourself right now. It's literally just other people who have them that you just happen to take a hit from. That's
my other thing is like I have a lot of friends that do. Yeah. So like so just, you know, it's around me a lot.
Yeah. But that's tough, but that's a really good habit to like get out of, and like just teaching yourself to like wane yourself off of it. Like, dude, like congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
really dope.
I
That's
appreciate
super dope.
that. I appreciate that. You know, it's just I've been actually like becoming like I've been like on this like goal. Like I work out every day usually with Luke Manley.
Oh, shout out to Luke.
Yeah, shout out to Luke. He put me on with that, and it just makes me feel healthy. I try to eat healthy. Yeah, like eat a lot of protein. You know, and stuff like that. Like avoid sugar, like we were just talking about. At the very beginning.
We were talking about. I don't. It was probably before I started recording, but like,
right.
Yeah, but like the absurd amount of sugar that goes into everything.
Sugar is so bad for you.
Yeah. We're supposed to be getting it from fruits. We're supposed to be out gathering blueberries, raspberries, whatnot, and having a handful of those each day. And that would be our sugar. That's like that dopamine hit we get from that sugar is supposed to make us want to go out and gather more berries.
Because berries are good for you.
Yeah.
Like if that's what you're consuming your sugar from every day, good for you.
That's good. But we took that and we made cakes. We made brownies.
High fructose corn syrup.
Damn, they're delicious.
Yeah.
But they're also killing people.
Like it is causing diabetes and you do not want that.
Yeah. So what are like the positive benefits that you felt from not having Nick?
Well, I would say that breathing just in general has gotten better.
Yeah.
Like it's quick. It's a quick recovery if you don't do it for very long.
Yeah.
You start to just, breathing's not heavy anymore. So in the beginning, like when you're first like on like a withdrawal type thing, you're very drowsy.
Yeah.
Very drowsy because nicotine's a stimulant.
Uh-huh.
But after that, you have more energy because nicotine at the same time, like if you don't have it with you or if you're not hitting it 24/7, you're tired.
Yeah.
So you just feel more like grounded, you know what I mean, with your energy levels. Also, let's see. I mean, my stomach doesn't feel upset anymore. Like when you hit it, it makes your stomach upset.
Yeah.
Oh, it makes you shit. That was like half the reason why I love doing it so much is because I wake up in the morning. Oh, it is shit.
That's so funny.
Like coffee and then like nicotine.
Dude, that will wreck you.
My stomach has not been the same since I started using nicotine.
Yeah, dude, like the poops that I have after like drinking coffee are the gnarliest thing ever.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Oh, are you into coffee then?
I tried not to be like dependent on it. But I do work a lot, so there are days where it's like I'm not gonna get through the day if I don't have this energy.
Yeah.
And like the difference between like Nick or caffeine is like caffeine actually doesn't really have any negative benefit or negative side effects. Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I mean, if you get off of it, you get like cranky for a few days, but I mean, like the positives seem to outweigh the negatives because there are so few of the negatives.
Yeah, like I really don't think that's a bad vice to have.
Yeah.
Like people are like, oh, I don't drink coffee. Like it's so like I don't want to get like into it. But I'm like, why not? Like it's not that bad for you really at all. I don't know. Unless you drink, I think it's like 2,000 milligrams, your heart will stop. Which is what, like 6 of these?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But that's the thing with everything. You like if you overdo anything, then you're gonna get hurt. It doesn't matter like how many positive benefits. Even we brought up working out earlier. Like if you overdo it, then you're just gonna hurt yourself.
It's a literal condition. Like if you overwork yourself, you are like yeah.
With working out, you're literally just hurting yourself so that your body can get stronger.
But if you just keep hurting yourself, you're not getting stronger.
Yeah, you're just gonna like break.
Daniel, I have to piss.
Oh, go ahead. Don't worry.
I've had to since like a while.
Oh yeah, no, don't worry about it. Just go ahead. I'll hold down the fort for you.
Okay.
Hey guys, so the podcast doesn't make a whole lot of money. You know that already. We've talked about it a couple times, but you know what you can do to help out the podcast? You can donate to the podcast. Just find the link in the bio of the podcast on whatever platform you're watching on or listening on, whether it's Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube. The link will be in the description. Just look for the support this podcast link, and that'll take you to a donation page on my Anchor profile where you can choose to donate 99. I believe the different amounts you can give are 99 cents, $5 or $10, and it's super easy. All you have to do is put in your email, put in your credit card, and then select the amount that you want to give, and that amount will be given towards the podcast every month. And I know it sounds weird. Maybe it's like, oh, I don't want to be on this subscription. It's super easy to cancel. You'll get a confirmation email from Anchor, and you can cancel anytime from that confirmation email. It's super easy. If you want to support the podcast, just go ahead, go to the donation page. Every dollar helps. I just did an ad. Okay, but low-key, I need a pee too.
Okay, go ahead.
I can just cut this out, or if you want to add something.
I can maybe ramble.
Yeah, you can ramble, whatever you want to do. It's up to you.
Y'all like Legos? I love Legos. Legos are great. Let's see, what else can I ramble about? Yeah, but no, like I was saying earlier, to you guys out there, please quit nicotine. Like there are very few things in this world that I'm passionate about, and quitting nicotine is like something I stand for, because like there's nothing good about it. It's highly addictive. I hate the companies that like tried to advertise to us kids because it worked. And to those of you who like need help, quitting advice, reach out to me. Please do that. But yeah, welcome back, Daniel.
What did you ramble on about?
Oh, I was just reiterating my quit nicotine now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So you talked about working out. Like, so how long ago did you like start that?
Well, it's okay. I got my job at Peak.
Yep.
To work out at Peak.
Oh, really? Okay.
Because you get a free membership.
That's dope.
It is.
Especially with how expensive Peak is.
It's insane.
Yeah.
You need a full-time job to get that place.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't understand.
But you can just get that for free if you have a full-time job there or part-time.
Part-time, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think I started working out maybe 3 months ago.
Uh-huh. How many days a week do you usually go?
Lately, I've been slacking a little bit.
Yeah.
So I would say about 3 or 4.
Okay.
But I used to go like 6.
Yeah.
That's my goal is 6. Like the last week, I only went 4.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I try to go for like 6 or 5 days a week.
Yeah.
Just, push, pull, leg, split.
Yeah.
Yeah. A standard kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
I actually hit 275 for squat today.
Ooh,
for 2.
Very nice.
For 2, yeah.
For 2 reps?
Yeah.
Hey, very nice. Good stuff. Good
thanks,
stuff.
bro. Appreciate it.
Speaking of squats, something I started doing recently is so when you squat, right, you're trying to go into like a sort of sitting position, right?
Yeah.
You're getting like you're going for like a 90-degree angle-ish.
Basically, yeah.
About that. What I started doing is I go past that and I basically try to get as low as possible.
Really?
Yeah, like I had to half my weight. I usually had I would usually do like 4 plates.
Oh, wow.
So like what's 45 times 4? That much. Plus the
Wow.
bar.
Oh my God,
And then
Daniel.
I'd do that for like 10 reps. Wow. Not me trying to flex or anything,
that's impressive.
but like, whoa.
Hell yeah, man. That's
The
awesome.
legs, but I had to half that and only do 45 on each side of the bar. But like I gotta say, I feel like I get a much better workout out of it if I like go all the way to the ground. I couldn't tell you why. It just like,
if you increase your range of motion,
yeah,
like that's just a basic idea. Like if you increase your range of motion, you kind of can increase the amount of muscle growth. I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like don't quote me on that.
But yeah, it was kind of rough having to like, like I was at this high point and then I had to like bring it down by half, and that was rough. But I'm getting a better workout out of it, so awesome. I like it a lot.
How often do you work out?
Oh, recently it's been bad. So when I first started, I think it was actually like right before Corona started.
I think I remember that. You went to Isaac's house and I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, Daniel.
Yeah, I started like February of 2019, and I was going at it for a good couple of months. I would go 5 days a week, and I was doing RVC at the same time. So I would go in mornings before classes.
That's what I did today. Like, it's nice.
Yeah, dude. And like, there's even like one day a week where I had a class at 7 a.m. So I would get up at 4 to go to the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. I was tired all the time, but I felt good. That's like a great thing about working out. Like you're physically healthier, but your mental state and you're just emotionally healthier too, I think.
Yeah. That's why I started. Like I honestly I wanted to look better a little bit. Obviously. I think everyone has that in common with that. But I also was just like, I need something that I can work towards. Yeah. And like improve myself. Yeah. And it just makes you feel good.
Yeah. So when I started working at Dollar Tree, shout out to Dollar Tree, I just didn't have the time to go every single day. So I had to cut that down to 3 days a week.
That's still all right.
Yeah, that's not bad. I don't think I would do like push exercises one day, pull exercises the next day, and then leg day.
Oh, yeah, so, exactly.
Yeah, so I still hit everything. But recently it's been really bad because like I'm editing videos constantly. I'm still working at Dollar Tree for however many hours I do every week. Yeah. And then trying to hit the gym on top of all of that, it's tough to get in. But so recently it's really, it's only been like 2 times a week, and
that's better than 0.
Absolutely, I agree with that.
Like as long as like at the end of the day, if you're like feeling good, and it's okay.
Oh yeah, dude. And this morning actually, I went to the gym. Like, yeah, I woke up, and one thing, like with that whole thing that working out makes you feel better. I woke up and I knew that, like, oh, I have to record a podcast today. Not that I don't want to record a podcast with you today, but it was like, oh, this is going to be rough if I have to do it like in this mental state right now. I was just groggy, wasn't really like having it that day. So I was
okay.
Yeah, but I was like, all right, you know what? If I hit the gym today, I'll feel good. I'll feel better right after it. I'll get that testosterone rush.
And it makes you feel productive.
Yeah.
Like, it increases your productivity.
Absolutely. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to have a hard workout today. Going to come back. I'm going to feel tired, but I'm going to feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that how you're feeling right now?
I'm feeling good, man.
That's good.
I'm so glad I went. I also started doing cardio.
Oh. My old enemy.
Do you do cardio these days?
In the beginning of quarantine, I used to run 2 miles every day.
Oh, tight.
Or a mile. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But, every day I would do that, wake up in the morning and do that, and I felt really good.
Yeah, dude, I hate cardio so much.
It
but
sucks.
After you get done with whatever you're doing, I don't do much. I do like 10 minutes either on the elliptical or the treadmill.
Oh, okay,
just whatever I'm feeling that day. My routine is basically I'll have 1 minute of like a fast walk, and then the next minute I will like run as hard as I can for that minute.
So high intensity interval training.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. Okay,
and
gotcha.
I'll do that for a short period of time. Today was 8 minutes because I was kind of in a rush today.
Yeah.
But usually I'll do 10, or when I have a lot of free time, I'll try to push like 15. So not a huge amount, but it's more than nothing.
Yeah.
It's more than nothing.
That's like the biggest thing is like if you're in the gym doing something, it's better than doing nothing.
Absolutely.
100%. I literally have heard Joe Rogan say that himself. Like it's like you like just like, I don't know. I definitely recommend to anyone just to work out a little bit. Gym, calisthenics, weights, cardio, anything.
Whatever you can do. It's such a huge benefit in just every aspect of your life.
Yeah. I'm not trying to sound like a gym bro, but it's
just work out at peak, bro.
Yeah, bro. Like, I started taking creatine too.
Really?
Yeah.
I have no idea what creatine does.
Okay, so creatine, it's like, I might be wrong, but this is pretty.
This is how I understand. Or like a health person.
This is how I understand it.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, you naturally produce and consume creatine.
Oh, okay.
It's what makes your muscles grow.
Oh, gotcha.
It's like one of the hormones, or like one of the. It's like, okay. And then when you take creatine, it's like taking a vitamin.
Oh, gotcha.
Because like you naturally consume vitamin C, vitamin A, vitamin D. But same thing with creatine, but you're just consuming like 1,000% more than you like usually are. And so then it makes your muscles grow.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I've been taking like creatine supplements for the longest time. My brother put it on for me, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll do this. I don't know what it does, but he says it like helps, so I'll do it.
It does help.
Like, yeah, dude.
So you were just taking it and you didn't know exactly what was going on.
I had no idea what it did, but I trusted my brother. He's been working out for a long time, so
your brother knows what's up. So.
Yeah, dude. What kind of supplements do you take? Just creatine? Just
creatine at the moment. Gotcha. I just started that maybe a week or two ago.
Yeah.
I ordered a $44 barrel off of Amazon.
Dude, that's one thing about supplements. They get so expensive.
Yeah. That's why I don't take any of my other ones. I'm just like, why do I need to? I don't know. Creatine's like a big one.
Yeah.
But like I haven't like looked into any other ones really.
I would say protein is another big one.
Oh yeah. I bought protein powder.
Yeah. That gets expensive.
That is also very expensive. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you also have to eat a lot of protein on top of it. Yeah, dude. Like I get what is it? Oh, it's like OP. I don't know what that stands for, but that's like the brand name.
Oh,
or that's like the shortened version of the name. It might be Optimal Nutrition. That's it.
Oh, I think I've heard of that.
Yeah, but I get like a big jug of those every couple of months, and it's like $60 each time, and it's like, ooh,
it's insane.
Like, I love feeling good. I love working out, but that's a dent in my pocket.
You know how much you're supposed to be consuming, like for bodybuilders?
How much?
It's 1 gram of protein for every pound of your body.
Damn.
So I weigh 155 pounds. Last time I checked. That's 155 grams of protein a day.
Jeez.
For reference, like, ladies and gentlemen, that is a lot of fucking protein.
Yeah.
Like, you do not consume that much naturally.
Yeah, I like a scoop of like the protein I have is like, it's like 35 grams of protein for a scoop. I usually do like a scoop and a half, or if it was like a really big workout day, I'll do 2 scoops.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, we're not bodybuilders.
Yeah. So you really don't need to be eating that much of protein. But
yeah, that's crazy. It's just like the sheer amount of protein. That's a huge investment.
Yeah. You're just be spending a lot of, that's why it's so expensive being like a professional bodybuilder. Like, that's why it's a whole job. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you have so many things you need to concentrate on.
Yeah. But dude, anyone who can like seriously specialize in something like that, good on them.
I respect that. Really, I do.
Yeah. The people who make it, like, as much as you want to scoff at like, oh, you know, they have all this stuff. All they do is work out and look crazy. Anyone can do that. No. Not anyone.
You're
can
not
do
doing it, so why do you need to talk down about them?
Yeah, no, like every single like most people who make it, they grinded for that position, and like even if they got handed that position, like the Kardashians, if they like grew up with that kind of money, it's still a grind afterwards to like keep that flow going,
keep the revenue going.
Yeah, it's not something that you can just sit down and let happen. You have to grind.
You know how Kylie Jenner was like a self-made billionaire or whatever? Like they gave her that title. She lost that status.
Really?
That's a perfect example of where you need to keep up, because she, like, I think it was a year or two ago, she got the title of self-made billionaire woman. You know, that's a big deal. Like, I respect that. Like, she had money to begin with, but she turned it into more. But now she's lost the title of billionaire. Her net worth has gone down substantially, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you got to keep that grind up. If you ever quit, if you ever take a break, that's a huge loss. Like you're not gonna make it from sitting on your ass.
You need to stay hungry.
Yeah, absolutely. Stay horny.
Stay horny. Hey. I love that. Okay, you want to hear a funny story?
Absolutely.
So Miss Fleming, right? Back in 6th grade when she taught us science.
Yeah.
So I sat at a table with Logan, Josh, and Miles Hutto. We were all like science partners.
Oh, just so you know, I'm gonna have to like cut out all the last names except Miles. He's been on the podcast.
I'm sorry, I forgot about that.
You're good. It's not a huge deal. It's easy to cut.
Okay, cool.
But like first names are fine. Okay. I just try to keep out the last names. Just
Miss Orange Hair Teacher.
That's fine. We can leave that. I don't care.
Okay.
Just keep going. Sorry.
I'll just say first names. So Logan shows me his homework, blah, 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 this and that. It's fine. It's fine. Okay. Miss Fleming comes up and she's like, hey, you didn't do this right. And she's like all like up on ass about it. And then she walks away. At the time, I thought horny meant like cranky. So I go, wow, someone's horny today. She turns around. She goes, what? And I'm just like, yeah, am I right? And then like she walks up. She's like, okay. She like smiles a little bit, knows I'm completely like an idiot. And then we just continue on with our science class.
Damn. That's so funny. Like, even if you did just say cranky, that still would have been hilarious because like she heard it and everything. But
I said horny too, so it's another
even
layer.
Better. That's so funny.
That's funny. Yeah, it's middle school was fun.
Dude, middle school was fun. It's easy to give us so much slack just because, like, you know, everyone was kind of like some edgy, awkward teen. Like, there's no one who didn't go through that phase.
No, you have to. It's just part of life.
Yeah, but in hindsight, if you ignore all like the cringiness, it's like a fun time.
Did you go on the DC trip?
I did.
I think I remember that. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you were in my room with me. Yeah.
Yeah.
You had the ukulele.
Yeah, I had to sleep in the bed with Owen.
Oh, my God.
He, like, attacked me in his sleep. I remember distinctly the first night that we were there, like, in the middle of the night, he just raised his arm and dropped it on me.
Oh, my God.
Just in his sleep.
I haven't seen that man in a long time.
Dude, I'm trying to get him on the podcast next week.
I'll do it.
Him and Reese. So it's going to be a double podcast, the first ever.
That's awesome.
I have to figure out how to make that work because I only got one microphone. I think it should be fine if they share. Like,
yeah, they just both kind of like get a little closer to it.
Yeah, it's like, and I can turn the gain up. It won't be as good, but like, I'll make it work.
Owen's a manager at a pool.
Yeah.
Apparently.
I heard.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, good for him. Shout out to Owen.
Yeah, for
See
sure.
you next week.
Next time on Daniel Strohman Experience.
Yeah, that's
what's
not,
it called? What's
not
it
the
called?
Daniel Strohman podcast.
It's the Daniel Strohman podcast?
Not the Daniel Strohman podcast.
That's right. My bad.
It's such a dumb name. Like, I like it, but I was just kind of sitting like, okay, what do I want to name this podcast? Like, I didn't want some corny name that like most podcasts have. Like it felt weird to have like an actual title to it, right? But I also didn't want to just name it after my name, like, oh, the Daniel Strohman podcast. And it's like, okay, that's a little too simple for me.
Yeah,
let's throw "not" in the beginning.
It's like psych.
Gotcha.
Oh, okay.
It was like such a dumb compromise, but also like the perfect compromise.
I like it.
Yeah, I like it a lot too. It's like it is a little long, I'll say.
Not the
Daniel Strohman podcast. That's like kind of a mouthful, but
works out.
Yeah, whatever. People.
I would say that it's a household name at my point.
Hey,
that's what I'm saying.
Thank you.
Of course.
If there's Nat, prepare to receive many compliments right now. Okay. But I think out of like everyone I know, you are one of like the kindest, nicest people I know. It is always a pleasure to see you. You're always so welcoming. You give everyone hugs, and like, dude, I just get a good feeling from you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's very nice.
I'm trying. Like all I want to do is be a good person.
Yeah, absolutely. You're doing a good job too.
Thank you. That means a lot to me, man. Mm-hmm. It's funny, like how you perceive yourself versus how people perceive you is completely different.
Yeah.
Or sometimes there's similarities too, but like I don't know. I was talking to this one person from like Belvedere North. Yeah. And like the people at Belvedere North think I'm an awful person.
Really?
I don't know why.
Well, they didn't have any of them like interacted with you in person?
No.
But okay, that's it. Like if you're just talking over like the internet, then that's not like a very good view of the person.
Yeah, I don't really care because I don't know them. You know what I mean? But it's just interesting to know that like you can be loved by some people and then be completely hated by other people, or like it's just weird.
That's just how it is, really. Like you can't, like, if you put your ideas out there in whatever format, whether that is like a huge public thing or if you're just talking to people over the internet, people have very different mindsets. They're going to interpret things in different ways. Like when you're texting people, do you get that sense of like if someone just sends like a simple text like okay or like hi, hey, or whatever, something simple like that is kind of like you feel like it's a little passive aggressive. Yeah. It's like they probably were just saying hey, or they were just saying okay, but like just because it like you don't see their face or the way they're saying it, you don't get the inflection of their voice. Yeah. You just interpret it automatically as they're angry.
Yeah, because there's like it takes that middle. You know what I mean? There's a middleman. Yeah. And so it's like playing telephone with an actual telephone.
Yeah, that's an interesting way of putting it. I like that. But yeah, people aren't always gonna get like the same interpretation of you, and that's just how it is.
If no one has a problem with you, you're probably doing something wrong. Like, you're probably not being genuine. Maybe. Yeah. I mean, obviously, like if like you're like with a group of 5 people and they all love you, like that's different. But if like let's say if every single person you ever encounter loves you, there's something
like. Are you giving them money? Is that
you're just bribing them with something?
Yeah, like, it's like, oh, I love him so much. He has, he exists, but he also gives me like he just drops a couple thousand every week.
Yeah, I love it. It's so nice.
He's such a nice person. He's so generous.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I was gonna have a point after that, but yeah, you're just never gonna like over the internet. No one's gonna know who you truly are. Like you can, as much as you might work towards being like a good, friendly person, if you put any sort of idea out there, people. Like there's people who are gonna like it, people who are gonna hate it, people who are gonna like even in person if you're talking, you like not everyone's gonna interpret it the same way, even though you do have like the added bonus of like the inflection of your voice or the facial expression that you're giving them.
Yeah, like it's all like a skill to pick up on those social cues, you know. And if you don't have that, like, it makes conversation so much different.
What does your inner voice sound like? I've heard this thing where like a certain amount of people have an inner voice that's like almost narrator like a movie narrator that's like describing everything to them in like a narrator way. I wouldn't say I have that, but it's like I wonder if people's inner voices are different. You want me to go first?
Yeah, you go ahead.
Yeah, so I would say mine is like a constant one-sided conversation with myself. I think in conversations, it's like anytime I listen to something or I'm trying to interpret something, it's like I'm like talking to myself like, oh, you see that tree over there? Yeah, that's a nice tree. It's like
I like that.
Just simple like small things like that, and it's like that for everything. Like it's like I'm either like myself talking to myself or I'm just talking by myself.
I would say like that's usually how my inner voice is as well.
Yeah.
Like it's like like it's like I compliment myself like in my head I'd be like, oh, nice job, Nathaniel, you did a good job there. Like nice one, man. Like you really did a good job. And I'm like, yeah, thank you. Yeah. But that's an interesting concept. I've never thought about that before.
I wonder like what other people's inner voices sound like.
I wonder what deaf people's inner voices sound like.
Do they?
Or inner sign language.
Do you think they think in symbols? I feel like I heard that somewhere that some people think in symbols. Maybe I don't know. I don't know where I'm pulling that. I'm just talking out my ass.
No, but that makes sense though.
Mm-hmm.
That would be cool.
Yeah,
they're probably like that's honestly probably it's probably more efficient.
Mm-hmm. Another thing I wanted to ask is like when you are talking to someone, do you like think through every single word you're gonna say beforehand, or is it like? I know with me, when I'm talking, especially when I'm on the podcast and I'm focused on so many different things, I almost never think about like what I'm saying. I have an idea in my head, but it's not put into words. It's like a concept, and then I just spew words out, hoping to get it right.
That's what I do. Yeah, that's 100% what I do.
Yeah, I think I need to get into the habit of like thinking things through so that I can be more articulate, more concise about things. But a lot of the time when like I'm on the podcast or even in regular conversations, I'm just kind of spewing words out and hoping that like I'm hitting the mark, hoping that I'm describing things right.
Yeah, like I don't know. I'm not a very detail-oriented person.
Me neither.
I'm a big idea guy.
Yeah. Nice burp.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it. But so like the way I view a conversation is like catch. You know, like I take a baseball, I throw it to you. Yeah. You take the baseball, throw it back. Like we're just trading ideas.
Yeah.
And like I think the only thing that matters in my opinion is the idea. I mean, obviously, like certain usage of language can like make you interpret it differently. But I think the ideas are what matter the most.
Yeah. The thing is that we don't always, since we can't see into each other's heads, see into each other's thoughts, we almost never know like what exact idea you're trying to like convey.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what's so absurd with like criticizing people so hard for their words. Like, if they're describing a dumb concept anyway, then like they're probably like if they do that all the time, then they probably just like they're an idiot or they suck. But like if like a lot of the times it's like, oh, sometimes they have good ideas, sometimes they have bad ones. Like maybe sometimes they're just not conveying what they're trying to say perfectly.
I think that's an issue with myself. Like I don't think I always put across what I'm trying to say very well.
That's something that I'm trying to get better at with this podcast. Like I'm kind of using this podcast as a way to get better at talking, to get better at articulating what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I think another thing I've been working on lately is like I want to like listen and not think about what I'm going to say next instead. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to listen to what you have to say and then respond. I'm not going to, you say something, I think about what I'm going to say next and then just blurt it out the chance I get. Yeah. You know what I mean? Something completely random, Daniel. Yeah. Do you believe there are good and bad people in this world?
I think that, I don't think it's like quite that binary. I think that there's definitely a lot of shitheads who do everything wrong. And there's also a lot of people who are very kind people who do everything right. But like
you.
You sweetheart, but I'm actually quite the baddie, Nathaniel.
Oh,
really? You have no idea what I've done.
Oh.
But I think it's so. I think it's kind of superficial to look at people as like these black and white things. Oh, this person's completely good. Oh, this person's completely bad. Like you kind of have to like take them for what they are. Like do they do most things good? Do they mess up sometimes? Because a lot of people make mistakes. A lot of people mess up, and like people are just flawed, and we're just infants trying to figure out this world and figure things out. Like no one's gonna have it right. No one has like the perfect formula for life.
You can't judge the sinner based on the sin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's the sin alone. Like people make, like you said, people make mistakes, and people are so complicated.
Yeah.
So complicated. We're so complicated. We have fields of like research and professions just dedicated to figuring out how people work.
Yeah. Like I just described, like there are people who do like everything wrong, but even with that, like what kind of trauma did they go through in their past? Like why is that happening? Because like, you know, maybe in like if one thing didn't happen in their life, maybe if like their father didn't leave, or if they weren't abused as a kid, or if they weren't mistreated, like maybe they would have grown up to be a good person who like, you know, doesn't stray from the path. Like,
yeah,
you never, like, there's this saying that I hear a lot on the Joe Rogan podcast, but it's like hurt people.
That's facts.
Yeah, like if someone has gone through so much trauma and so much hurt in their life, then, and like more likely than not, they're gonna take that out on other people.
Yeah.
Like
the abused become the abuser.
Yeah. Like maybe you can objectively say that they're a bad person, but I think like even that is like, that's not a very, that too is like very a superficial way of looking at them. Like if you really, I think what you should do is like try to understand them and like understand like, oh, they're doing this because this happened in their life.
Yes, exactly. And like another thing is too, like, what if your definition of good is not theirs?
Yeah.
Right? Like, I think a lot of bad guys in movies, like even like little kid movies, like are not being bad people actively.
Yeah.
I think they're just doing bad things for good reasons.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Like, let's say, for example, I don't know, you're trying to get revenge. To you, it seems like you're providing justice to society through your own way. But that may not be the case. Like, it's not black and white like that. You know, this perspective is everything.
Or an easy popular example is Thanos.
And I was trying to think of something popular. But.
Yeah, in the Marvel movies, like he had this idea of, you know, literally just killing off half of the population of the universe, and because, you know, people are using up so many resources, everyone's gonna deplete them eventually. If you half the entire population, you know, people will have easier lives and there's more resources for like the individuals that are left.
Yeah. Like,
terrible idea, but in his mind you can at least appreciate that he was like trying to do good in a way. Like
the means don't justify the ends. Wait, the ends don't justify the means. My bad. But like, I don't know, man. Like that's exactly, like if you're trying to be a good person, like at least understand that about someone else. I don't know. It's complicated. People are so weird.
Yeah, dude. Well, Nathaniel Laprade, we are at an hour 20 minutes.
Daniel Strohman, thank you for having me.
Yeah,
I don't want to keep you.
No, dude. Is there anything you want to like leave everyone with? Is there anything you want to plug?
Come to Pete. Come to Peak Sports Club.
Yeah,
come
maybe
swim.
You'll see Nathaniel.
I'll save you in 5-foot water. I saved 2 kids.
Really?
At the same time.
At the same time? Is it like hard carrying people in the water?
I would say no. I mean, like obviously if it's a big ass woman or a big ass man, like it's gonna be difficult. But like they give you like a tube, and the tube can hold like a couple 100 pounds.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's dope.
But like, okay, I'll just briefly talk about this.
Oh yeah, no, we can keep going as long as you want. I usually just do an hour, but let's keep going. Come on.
Yeah, we can cut as much as you want, really. Yeah. No, but so I was at we have like 10 different spots.
Yep.
7 of them are like places you are. 3 of them are just breaks.
Yeah.
I was at the first chair, and the water is only about 3.5 feet max this area, right? These 2 3-year-olds or 4-year-olds or whatever, they start swimming. They keep going in the water. They get deeper and deeper. And then, so what happened was this little dude just starts drowning, grabs onto his friend with a life jacket on, and pulls him under the water.
What the heck?
And then I'm like, oh shit, now they're both drowning. Because I've been like watching this one kid for a while. I'm like, oh, he's gonna probably drown. And then he drowns his friend. So I jump in, I pick them up, and they're both crying. I sit them down, and then right as I like walk back up onto the pool deck, Another one starts drowning.
Really?
Yeah. And then there was 3 saves within 2 minutes.
Dang.
A new record at peak.
Hey, very nice. Very nice.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. I'm a legit hero.
You are a hero. That's more lives than most people save.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that.
Most people have saved 0 lives. Yeah. You have officially saved. You didn't save the other person, right?
No, that was
someone else.
That was actually Stella Schuster.
Oh.
Shout out to Stella Schuster.
Very nice. Very nice. You've done good work.
We applaud you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for your service.
We applaud you, Nathaniel.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Well, let's wrap this up. Anything else?
No, that's all I wanted to say, really.
All right. Find what makes you horny, my friends.
Find what makes you horny.
Nathaniel, thank you so much for being on. This was a great pleasure.
Thank you for having me. It was fun.
Dude, I will have to get you on again sometime.
Please do.
This was awesome. Well, thank you for being on, and thank you for listening. Bye, everybody.